Welcome to another episode of What Day Is It? Welcome to episode 20. We made it a whole 10 times and didn't fucking quit, and there's still nobody listening to us.
It's like 2 decades worth.
Man, for real. We wanted to record this episode out by the camels, but I don't know. We just didn't get to it, and we gotta, bring some extra tables out and yada yada yada. It's just gonna be.
We're lazy, and it's gonna rain.
Yeah. It's definitely supposed to rain here soon, so we'll just use that as the excuse for sure. I'm gonna turn myself down real quick. I look super loud on the computer.
Better.
Yeah, we'll be fine right there.
Okay.
So, wow, this last week was hell.
The weekend.
I mean, how was your normal person life week?
Yeah, it was average.
Average.
Saturday and Sunday, I got to relax for once, so that was kind of nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
You didn't do shit. No
Put up
gun?
a new light, front door light. That was a nightmare.
How jagged was the cut?
Pretty bad because my Dremel broke, and then my jigsaw was not working. I got it to work for like the outside, or like for where you put it on the outside. But yeah, otherwise it's just jerry rigged. It looks good, and now I have an outlet on the front.
What are you making for dinner?
Barbecue pulled pork chicken. Maggie making it.
Am I coming to eat your chicken?
Yes, you are if you want.
I'll take a look at your light.
And judge me.
I will, with my hands on my hips like a dad.
It's crooked.
Oh.
It's a little crooked. It's not bad.
I'll grab it like the longest yard and tilt it when he fixed his nose,
Thanks, boss.
He said, I love little Michael, or whatever. You look like a young Michael Jackson. But yeah, it's been a fucking week, and for the last 6 episodes or so, I feel like I keep hopping up on here and saying it, but we come on here once a week, and if we don't have a guest to talk bullshit with, we just tell you about our week with the animals. So I guess, every week is great. Usually it's just a couple things of bullshit through the week, but that's what we're here to talk about. I guess we don't talk about the great times a lot. We get on here and banter and talk about the USDA and other government shit and the bad things that happen. And, I don't know, maybe it should be reminded that I am grateful to be living this life and I love to be around my animals. And there is a lot of trouble that comes with it. There is a lot of fucking trouble that comes with it, and we'll start with this on that note. There was that wallaby that got out in Cudahy. Are you caught up on this?
No.
There was a wallaby that got caught that got loose in Cudahy. So what, 30 minutes from here?
Yeah.
The cops caught it, or she got it back, or I don't know, and they were giving her 5 days to surrender it to Maddock.
Oh.
Because her city doesn't allow for exotics, and one of the first things I'm seeing is people are going crazy on the news posts and stuff, and they're like, let her have it. Wisconsin allows this, blah, blah, blah. People don't realize city regulations.
City is completely different.
Your city is far more important than the state.
Yeah.
And just because she had it and raised it, even though I think it's only like a year old, it said, it doesn't mean she should be allowed to have shit if she's breaking the law. It's her fault for not looking into things. Now, I put up a post about this, and I got some backlash on it on Facebook. But the reason I put the post up is the lady said she bought the wallaby from 7 Mile Fair. Yeah.
What?
That was my face, too. That was my fucking face. And I thought 7 Mile Fair quit selling animals back when we were doing pony rides.
Yeah.
Because you remember back in the day, people would always come up and talk to us in Spanish, try to buy the goats from us and shit. I'm like, no, we're just doing a petting zoo. Like,
you pet them and feed them. You don't eat them.
Correct. And so I put up this post. I was like, 7 Mile Fair, blah, 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 blah. You need to do better. Like, you need to monitor your vendors. This is super fucked up.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be able to buy exotic animals from flea markets. And shit like that, and one guy commented, and he was like, what do you mean the exotic pet trade? And I was like, exactly like I'm talking about. People shouldn't be able to buy animals this easily. And he was like, well, you're a fucking hypocrite because you have exotic animals, therefore they're pets. And I was like, I am governed. And this guy, he's in the industry too. That's the fucked up. Like, you should know better. I'm governed. My care is upkept. I have multiple vets that you are all familiar with the place. Like this, it's a zoo.
Yeah.
This is a regulated facility.
Yeah.
I'm not
That
just
gets
some
checked
lady.
on.
Right. USDA is literally here right now.
Yeah.
Like as we speak,
Yeah.
we get checked on, and it's a whole different ballpark. It was very arrogant. And I was like, any professional would probably just agree that you shouldn't be able to get pets this easily. And he and some other person were arguing. They were like, well, you got to start somewhere. Like, yeah, you know what? You do. But like, I've thought of a lady up north that I've made friends with recently. She's the newest license in the state of Wisconsin. And she did start correctly from the ground up. She had her property. She built some pens, called the USDA, got a license, and now she can buy whatever the fuck she wants, and she's building contacts like me and other people.
So she did it the right way.
She did it the correct way.
Yeah.
Everyone has to start somewhere, but you can start the right way.
Yeah.
And not to be like jealous or arrogant or any word you can think of, but I have to follow all these rules and regulations. I'll be damned if this person doesn't.
Right.
To own the same animal.
Well, and it's not fair to the animal either.
No,
you shouldn't have a wallaby inside your house.
No, the fuck you shouldn't. And zoos do have escapees,
Sure.
and stuff like that, but like it definitely is more precedented that these animals get out of normal people's homes.
Yeah.
It's a wallaby, it can jump pretty high. But where was I going with this post? Being grateful and whatnot. There was a comment on the post that this lady, the first comment was kind of backhanded, but the second, I don't remember who it was, but the second comment was like, I just think education is an issue here. And I said, you're right, but people don't try to educate themselves. And then she said, well, maybe we need to start talking about all the bad times as well, because all we talk about is the good times. And I'm thinking on here, it's kind of the opposite. If more people would listen to this fucking podcast, you might understand something. But she's not wrong. When it comes to Facebook and Instagram, I mean, even me, I post a picture with the camel and I put up a dumb caption. Like that's what people see.
Yeah.
And I think the lady is right. We do need to be more publicly spoken on the downside of this. And I don't think I'm completely at fault at this anymore, because that's what we're here doing, this podcast, to talk about the bad part of the animal world, the open, honest opinions of the animal world in America.
Drama. That's what people eat up.
Absolutely. And I'm not doing the drama sense to draw people in, but like,
we're not Love Island.
Absolutely. But yeah, that you know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah.
And if more people would kind of be open in public like this and really tune in, but the thing with this podcast is, I think majority of the people that are going to listen are going to be normal people. Why? Because most people, at least 60-70% of the people that are also in the animal industry, are too fucking arrogant to listen to what other people have to say.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fucked up. There's room enough for the rest of us.
Yeah.
There's totally room for the rest of us.
Or they're going to listen to you and be like, well, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong.
Yeah, call me wrong for my opinions.
Yeah.
And I mean, we spit out some facts on here too, especially when it comes to camelids and shit,
Or close enough.
But people always think you're fucking wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
People want to call you out.
For bullshit.
Always.
Too. People banter for nothing, and people don't own up to it, and
I'll admit when I'm wrong.
Fuck yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
100 goddamn percent. But
you prove me wrong, all right.
So, like, but what is this fix, okay? If I go on Facebook and, like, I say, oh my God, this is all the bad stuff. This happened today, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I got like 2,000 friends on Facebook or whatever, but like, how many of those people do you think will ever end up with an exotic animal? How many of those people do you ever think you have an interest? And all of the friends that I have with animals on Facebook, if we talk all of their friends list, I mean, there's thousands of people for sure. But like, if we start posting all of this bad stuff, who's really going to listen? Like, people don't listen. People do not fucking listen at all. They don't. And that's a big part of what I preach on my tours. I tell you why you shouldn't have this animal or this animal or this. I had a woman come on tour last week, and she said, I just love the capybara, as always, the fucking capybara. I just love the capybara. They're my favorite animal because nothing hunts them.
Excuse me?
I said, that's really wrong.
Yeah.
literally everything in South America eats them. Birds fly away with them. Small cats like jaguars, anacondas, caimans, humans eat them.
They're a rodent.
They're rodents. They're food. They're prey animals. And she was
Yeah.
like, well, what about all the pictures, next to alligators? Nobody knows they're caimans down there. And
Yeah.
they're chilling with this animal and this animal. I was like, those are all wonderfully timed photographs.
Oh, for sure.
And let's be honest, I'm sure there's some of them times like the capybara next to a couple caimans. I promise you there's capybaras that got away from them.
Yeah.
They've just walked away, and that shit happens. It's nature. Sometimes the animals aren't hunting.
Yep.
Sometimes they are, but everything eats them. And she listened. This isn't a thing about people not listening again. It's just people are arrogant. They don't do their research, and
No.
that's what I'm here. I shouldn't say arrogant. I should say ignorant.
Yeah.
Let me take that back.
Yeah.
She was ignorant. She's not dumb. It was just an ignorant statement. She
Yeah.
hadn't done her
She didn't know any
research.
better.
Correct. And that's what we're here for. We're here to educate people on things like that because this is the rude statement. People don't think, and when it comes to exotic animals, if you're going to own them, you need to think. And
Well, even cats and dogs.
guinea
Guinea pigs.
100%.
Hamsters. Oh, look how cute that is. I want a dog now. And then you bring it home and it's like, fuck, I really don't want to. I really don't want a dog. Now it's pissing in the house.
Yeah.
Now I don't want piss in my house. So now I'm going to give it up for adoption. And that's half of the animals in.
Literally, I mean, all shelters across the country, they're so full,
Yeah.
And when you get into outside of cats and dogs, like the ferrets and hamsters and stuff, birds, snakes, all the normal people for stuff to get, the normal pets, they're all still considered exotic.
Yeah.
And they all have their own separate issues, and it still is hard to find good vets for them.
Mm-hmm.
It no matter the animal. You're 100% right, and I know we preach exotics here because that's what we deal with. But people undermine the pet situation no matter what the animal is.
Oh yeah, I undermined mine because I thought my dog would be easy because he's a lab.
Yeah.
I was fucking wrong.
Leo's a dud.
He's dud.
At least he's I'm not gonna call him a good dog, but he's friendly as it comes.
He's happy.
He's a wonderful dog. Like he brings joy to the room for sure.
Or annoyance depending on who you are.
I mean, you know me, I don't really fuck with dogs like that, but like Leo, he is fun to be around.
And that's why I think you're a psychopath because you don't like dogs. So.
I grew up my entire life loving dogs, loving dogs. And it wasn't honestly until I started working at the vet clinic that I started becoming a little resentful towards them. And here's
because they bite?
No. I got swat at and bit at by more cats, working there. But controlling a cat is much easier,
With gloves.
I don't even use, dude, I use a towel. Come on, we come from Joe Don Farms.
Yeah.
I throw a towel over the motherfucker. We put a muzzle on the cat and we trim its nails real quick, and then we go to town and we do what we need to do. I argue this all the time. I'd rather take a mean cat than a dog.
I tried doing that with my mom's cat because I was like, oh, how hard can it be? I've done a bunch of nails. And I put the towel on it. Well, as I was snipping the first toe, it jumped out of the towel and right on my mom's face. I'm like, all right, yep, that's not going to work.
Cats can be a pain in the butt to deal with, but the difference between a cat and a dog is the dog is powerful. Especially the large ones.
But I can handle a dog better, though.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't.
Oh, yeah. Ropes. Treat him like a camel.
I'm telling you, you can manhandle a cat.
Yeah.
When that 150-pound German Shepherd comes into the clinic,
right,
there's nothing you can do about it.
Now we're using Germans, sure, okay.
German Shepherds, Pit Bulls, take a Newfoundland, take any large breed of dog. Even the medium ones are tough. But any large breed, you can't control it. They're strong. That dog is stronger than you.
Yeah.
And it has to be muzzled, and the German Shepherd, I'm shepherdist for sure. Like they always come to mind first. But any large breed of dog, I've seen mean ones in all types of dogs, all breeds of dogs.
Sure.
Shepherd is just one very prominent one. And kind of bringing me back to my original point here is, I don't exactly blame all the dogs. Majority of the time, I blame the owners.
Oh, 1,000%.
That's a very big majority of the time. But there are dogs like Leo where I can't exactly blame both of you. He is just an incredibly hyperactive, dumb, and dog. And let's be honest, he's just kind of a dunce.
Oh yeah,
Truthfully,
he's a lab though.
you know,
I mean.
right. And but a lot of these people, they get these dogs, man, and they give them no house etiquette.
Well, it's like my neighbor. He's got that German
The
Shepherd.
one that jumped through his fucking window.
Yeah.
Well, here, look, we're looking at shepherds again, okay?
Yeah.
Shepherds are working dogs.
Yes.
They need shit to do. You don't leave them at home for
Constantly.
hours at a time. The shepherds are one of the closest dogs that I can compare to the camel. It is a working dog.
Or what about the one that military uses with the black face, brown body? The ones that climb walls.
Dobermans?
No.
What are you talking about? The Malinois?
Yes.
They're basically German shepherds.
But on steroids.
So Malinois and shepherds, I would say that they're more aggressive than the camel on average.
Oh,
for
yeah.
fucking sure.
Yeah.
But they are an animal that, like we say with camels all the time, when they're bored, they are dangerous and they are destructive.
Yep.
And your neighbor is the best example of that. Fluffy's breaking out the mints. Let me get a mint.
Take it
He left the dog home too long and it literally jumped through his fucking window.
Yep.
You know?
Well, it didn't jump out. It just broke the window, which was really impressive.
But that is insane. But the majority of the time I was at the clinic, there was like, I don't know, I was at the clinic for 3 years. I don't know. And I still go in every blue moon, like to spotlight somebody, you know, and when they need a hand. But like, I maybe had, I swear to God, 1 or 2 dogs that actually sat on the scale when I asked them to.
Really?
You know, I never got a good dog. And for everybody listening, I don't know if we've talked about this on here, but between Fluffy and my brother and everybody at the zoo and people with dogs and blah, 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 God, people are probably sick of hearing this shit. But like, a good dog listens.
Yeah.
A good dog sits when you tell it. A good dog doesn't chase the bunny out of your yard. A good dog doesn't leave your fucking yard.
Yeah.
A good dog knows manners. A good dog it's a hunting dog. It has a job. It has rules, and it understands that. It eats dinner and lunch when you tell it to. It doesn't beg for your table scraps. All this shit, and I don't even know if I know one of them. And I got some friends for sure with dogs that are like mediocre for sure. Have you met Ty?
Yes.
My buddy Ty has a dog named Grim. And Grim's usually like the dog I think about when I think about all my friends' dogs. Out of all of my friends' dogs, Grim is probably the most well-behaved. For sure.
What kind of dog?
I don't know. I don't even want to guess.
What?
He's definitely a mixed breed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should know. I was there when he got him. He's a puppy.
Dude,
you know?
you're dropping the ball.
I
That's
know,
your favorite dog.
Man. He out of all my friends' dogs, he's my favorite dog. And here's the thing. When I don't see Grim too much anymore, but like I'll go over there sometimes and Grim, he gets very excited. It's like Leo. He'll be in your face or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Ty snaps his fingers. He said, go lay down. That dog, he goes to his bed. He listens. He fucking listens. And he put the time into that dog. He did. And I'm not saying that you didn't put the time into Leo. They're just 2 very different dogs. And at this point, a lot of what you're getting sometimes with these dogs comes into luck. And people are going to fucking hate that I'm telling you this.
It's true.
It seriously is. We have downbred dogs so fucking much.
Yep.
And here is my hottest fucking take. The entire 20 episodes of the podcast for Camel Man talking about dogs. Dogs aren't that smart.
No.
Dogs aren't that fucking smart.
I think it varies on the dog, though.
100%. You know what? Go back to the shepherds again. I think they're smarter than chihuahuas. You know, that's an easy fucking, guess. It definitely goes by breed and how they've been used in the past and how they've been kept with humans and all that jazz, And some of it is natural for sure, Some of these dogs are a little closer to their relatives than the other ones, It's a whole mix, And that Grim is the only dog that comes to my mind out of all my friends' dogs that like really when I go over there he fucking listens. He fucking listens. He's a decent dog for sure. And I just now okay, so I explained what a good dog should be. But what people think a good dog is in a nutshell, is friendly. It's friendly. They just
Uh.
think a good dog is friendly. It wags its tail, it comes up, it licks you. Even if it begs for table
That's just a
scraps,
good
it's
boy.
friendly. It's a good boy. That's a great way to put it. People
Yep.
think good dogs are good boys. He's just a friendly dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. That's fucking awesome. And when I'm working at the clinic and a friendly dog comes in, I don't want to sound ungrateful. That is far better than a mean dog,
Yeah.
than a bad dog. Like I very rarely see bad dogs. Super very rarely, even in like my just normal life, I very rarely see a bad dog. There's a fine line between a good boy and a good dog. Let's put it that way for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, but I remember almost being attacked when I was really young. I was rollerblading on the street behind my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my mom was walking. I was rollerblading. All of a sudden, this German Shepherd just came right on the road and just started like wanting to eat us. I was like, oh my God. That was my first bad experience with a dog that I can remember. And I started walking away. My mom's like, go now.
Well, here's my other hot take. I think people should have to have a permit to own certain species or breeds, like German Shepherds.
Yeah.
Everyone that gets them, they're out of fucking control. Out of goddamn control. And
Yeah.
I grew up with dogs, of course. We had a bunch of small dogs.
I wouldn't
Yorkie,
say
Shih
everybody,
Tzu.
though. A big
No,
majority.
You can't break the rule for other people. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Well, I understand that. But...
and not everybody should have to, but it's one of them situations where you fucked it up for everyone else.
Yeah.
And
it's like pit bulls. Like a lot of cities, you can't have pit bulls because of the stigmatism.
And it's so backwards. They're great dogs.
Oh, yeah.
I love pit bulls. They're fucking sweet, dude. They're fucking nice animals.
But because rotten apples ruined it.
For sure. Rotten apples ruined it. But 9 times out of 10, I see far more mean German Shepherds than I see pit bulls.
Yeah, that surprises me
beyond,
too.
dude. I have seen far more mean German Shepherds. And I grew up with a couple of Shepherds. We had a purebred and a white one. And I mean, I don't really know how the breeding goes on the white ones, but both of them were shitheads. And I mean, they were friendly. They were just friendly. Neither of them were good dogs at all, and like if somebody would have broken into my house, they would have just like licked their face. They were not good dogs. They were just friendly dogs. And as far as having 2 friendly German Shepherds, I think we lucked out, at the very least, because we didn't really do shit with them. They didn't learn anything. When the purebred was younger, we did take her to a couple classes, but it was just like sit and shake and bullshit. And you think, I mean, I don't even know how old I was, but I mean, I know nobody in my house kept up with it. You think I went home and made her shake every day?
No.
That dog didn't know fuck. That's the average dog owner, and
well, and that's why I got a lab. Because it's easy.
There's a lot of good dog owners out here too, and I don't want to stress everybody out, but man, there's fucking dogs.
Well, like Joe's rot.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is one of the nicest rots I've ever met. And usually they are, unless they're not. But like, yeah, you can't piss that thing off half the time.
Good. I love Rottweilers.
I know they're so like big.
Man, how do we even get here?
I don't know. We were just exotic animals because of the wallaby.
Yeah. It all boils down to the same thing as dogs, kind of.
I really want to get a goat, but I know I shouldn't have a goat in city limits. I can get a pig though.
What is backwards is all the animals I have over here, I'd say, are friendlier than a lot of dogs.
Except for the lemurs. I'm just playing. I just don't like lemurs.
I've never got bit by a lemur yet.
Well, I think most of the time, when people did get hit by what's her name when we had her, she was usually pregnant. I think. I think that's when and after she hit me once, she didn't like me after that.
And I just got my first bad quaddy bite. Yeah, I got a quaddy fang in my lower back fat this week. That was wonderful. But like, I don't know. She was going for some berries, I think, and I went to move her, and that was user error.
Yeah.
I know better. It's a fucking quadamundi. They're very aggressive over things that they're claiming. I know how this works. And I will say though that these mother-raised lemurs are incredibly safe. I don't know if any of the ones here prior to me were bottle-raised here or anything like that, but mine also aren't crated and moved and go to shows and handled. Like they live a very de-stressed life.
Yeah, they just get fed.
Yeah, that's their job.
And look at people.
That is their job. That is it.
Yeah.
Pretty
easy.
Super. Lex really boiled down the theory of the friendly mother-raised lemurs down there. I don't know if he's ever had anybody get bit. I have no idea. Maybe.
Yeah, because the only bottle baby I know, it was a biter, right?
Oscar?
I think.
Yeah, right? He's put a fang or two in a couple people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I wonder if that Nellie was her name, I think.
Nellie. I think Nellie's the one that put the scar in Michael's arm. He's got a pretty nice scar.
He's also the one that tried to bite a hole through my shirt. With 2 hoodies,
Nellie was an asshole.
Yeah, but she might have been bottle raised. I don't know.
So that was the newest part of the week, I guess, was my quaddy bite. And miraculously, I get bit, and two tours ask me, it's like, how do you know it doesn't have rabies? And I'm like, because it was born here.
Yeah.
It was born in captivity. It would have to physically get in a fight with something that's rabid. If I die from rabies getting bit from a captive animal, I'm literally going to be the 0.001%.
It's
nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
But man.
Like that one guy got struck by lightning like 7 times.
And he lived.
He lived every time.
Insane, too.
I'd be so mad.
So last time we were on, we said Happy 4th. It was right before the 4th.
Oh, the 4th of July. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now we're after the 4th. So Fluffy did 2 parades in Illinois, and I did 2 parades up here in Wisconsin. My day was hell. Absolutely. I think I had it worse than you, man. But
I want to say because I'm used to those parades.
I had a bad day. I did Greendale, which took forever, and they kept putting us back in line, and I was a half hour late for Franklin. When I got there, we were literally the last float entering.
I can't believe you made it.
I can't believe I made it. So we threw the truck and trailer in right behind the camel, and Haley was walking the camel through the parade first time. And,
baptism by fire.
For real. And I don't know what I was more nervous about. I've never driven a truck through the parade, so I don't know if I was more nervous about hitting a kid or the camel going stupid. And Newton just kept looking back at the trailer,
Yeah.
Eventually, he kind of calmed
Well,
down.
he looks at you when you're on the UTV. He looks at you whenever. He knew you were in the truck.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
He's a crackhead.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we get done with Franklin, and we're supposed to do rides at this Franklin fair, and after the parade, the lady's like, well, I don't know how we're going to get in there because it's all blockaded off. And so we get set up to do rides. I set up for like an hour or two, do like no rides. And we're on like the edge of the fair because we can't get in there.
Yeah.
It was so pointless. It was dumb. I'm not doing that shit next year. And in between both parades, Newton wouldn't get in the trailer. I have no idea what he did. I think when we took that long haul up north the other week, he kind of scratched his neck pretty good in the trailer from rocking back and forth. I think he might have scared himself a little bit. And they're toddlers,
Yeah.
But he shouldn't be fucking doing that either. He needs to figure that out. It was a long day, and I was so stressed out. I put the lock on the trailer wrong, and thank God somebody noticed it, and I've never done that before in my life. It made me feel like a pretty piece of shit, but it's...
I've lost a lock before because I didn't lock it.
Well, at least it was with the lever put.
Yeah, the lever was always put down, yeah.
That's what I fucked up on.
Except when...
the lock was locked. The lever was on the wrong side.
You just missed.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I was so worried about looking like an idiot trying to get Newton to the trailer. Because, there's 100 people watching us walking away from the parade, And
Always
I'm trying
is.
I have him dallied there, and we asked him nicely until he hopped in, It was dumb, and it was hot. It was so hot.
So hot. I had no air conditioning in the truck.
So, and you took doofus, right?
Yeah. My camel pack, though, that worked out pretty good.
I didn't even bring mine.
It was amazing.
I want to wash mine out more.
Yeah.
I need vinegar or something or alcohol.
Don't use alcohol. I used alcohol. Don't use that.
Why?
'Cause I sucked it through the first,
Ew.
first half bottle of water, pretty much. I was just like...
drinking rubbing alcohol.
It was just a flavor, but, my palate's so much stronger, I think, than other people's that... Sure. Like I was telling you, I can taste, like, the plastic from a bread. Like, from a piece of bread. I can taste the plastic that it was in.
No wonder you're such a foodie.
Right?
You can taste everything times 100.
I hate it. I don't know if I'm special because Gordon Ramsay, I guess that's a thing. He's got that.
Really?
He's got he can tell everything that's in.
So you should have been a chef.
I could still be a chef.
You still can.
Chef LaBeouf.
You said that before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I think my dad has an apron that says it on there.
That's
funny. Or he used to.
Your dad would have that.
Oh, yeah.
He has no problem buying shit.
Nope. Loves it. His favorite thing to do.
The 4th of July was just fucking.
But Doofus did okay in the parades. The first parade went off without a hitch. I got back to the front, and I thought the other animals were going to come. And all of a sudden, we're the only ones. I'm like, well, this is the first.
I asked about it, and she said they ain't been there in a couple of years.
Well, they were there. Was it last year?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm almost positive they were there last year.
Well, I haven't done those parades in probably 4 years because you're there.
Yeah.
You know, if I had known that I would have got home earlier than you, I'd have just sent you to these ones. But I'm kind of glad I didn't because
I'm glad you went there. Yeah,
but getting to the Franklin parade was hell because all the roads were closed.
Yep.
I had to ask like 3 cops, where do I go? And 2 of them.
And I don't want to be put through that stress. In between my parades, I stopped at Culver's for lunch.
Yeah, I didn't get to stop fucking nowhere. I was out the door at 7 a.m. and I didn't eat till fucking 6.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just, man.
But you know, the biggest problem I had was during the second parade, because we were all the way at the end. I was the last person in the parade. I've never had that happen before. It was horrible. I was the guy in the cartoon that cleans up after the animal poop, you know, at the end of the show or whatever. And I was like, well, this sucks. And like the second parade wasn't as good, like the people wise. It just wasn't as happy, I guess. The first parade was way better. And Doofus did not like all the trucks and stuff, all the cops and stuff, because there was like trucks, like they're tearing down the barricades and everything right behind us, and then the motorcycles doing the figure eights and the circles. Mm-hmm. He was not having it, and I've never seen him like in a parade. He's bomb proof.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to care about things.
Nothing, and I was like, dude, he is actually having issues right now. I mean, he did a pretty good job with them. I can't, no complaints, but I'm like, he's being a spaz, and he's never like that.
No, he's not. But I don't, like we kind of talked about last week. The camels don't go to work as much as they used to.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I'm one man. You know, I mean, you're out here as often as you can, and I mean, it's honestly like not to shit on anybody else that helps us out, but when it comes to the camels and trying to keep them in check, it's really just you and I.
Yeah,
you know, that's it. And for the most part, like. I mean, usually they get tied up and grained every day. I haven't done that today, but like, that's their 7-day a week cycle. But unless like you're coming out, I don't always get to doing the training exercises myself. You know, like we just make a thing out of it. You know, we don't have as much work as there used to be.
Yeah.
You know, so which is fine. I don't care, but the honest part of that is they fuck off a little more.
Oh, yeah. I notice a difference.
For sure. They're not out every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and there's always that difference between winter to spring, you know?
Always. Even when the farm,
mm-hmm.
there's always at least 3-4 months where there's nothing.
They got to get past that shit. And it's pain in the butt, but it's really like it's not a...
Flynn's coming along good, though.
Yeah, Flynn's doing good. You know, I haven't put the halter on him in a couple days.
I put it on him last time I was out here.
Yesterday? Day before? You walked him yesterday.
Yesterday I put it on him, yeah.
Yeah.
He did good.
And after he did that, we went on a farm call like we were some vets or something, some veterinarians.
I was just a supervisor.
This was yesterday. This woman came into the farm driveway, the ranch driveway, about 4 o'clock or so, and she was just rambling, and I couldn't exactly make out what she was trying to tell. She was definitely stressed out.
Oh yeah, she was beside herself.
But this woman ended up asking us for help with her llama, and
she wanted shears first.
She wanted shears, and then we got to talking about it, and she was like, "Oh, it almost looks like there's a bullet hole, and there's some maggots, and this and that," and I don't really remember exactly what the conversation sounded like, but it eventually I was like, yeah, I'll go look at it. And she was like, well, when I walked back out to you guys, so I was seeing if I had anything to cut it. She was like, well, do you give whenever you're the owner's around or whatever, you can just like tell them. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm right here.
Well, because she
You know.
handed me that the thing she won or whatever, and your
Yeah.
business card,
Mhm.
and she's like, "Here, I got his number from this." And I know he's not answering the call. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's the owner's phone." And you were in the barn yet, but I don't think we could see you. Maybe.
I haven't answered the business phone in probably 3 or 4 days.
Well,
It's
that's rough.
probably dead.
Yeah.
Truly,
Your phone was dead yesterday when I tried calling too.
yeah. I dead phones around. I'm fucking with the animals, damn it.
Nice trying to sound like Bob.
I know. So whatever, we're just like, all right, let's go take a look at it. And she lives 2 minutes down the road or whatever. And apparently, I had met this woman before at like an event or something, and she's talked to me about llamas and this. I told her straight up, I was like, I meet so many people that I have no idea who you
I
are.
guess
So
I told her you're a
know.
big deal. You're kind of a big deal.
Bullshit. It's funny. It's funny, and I'd love to hear it, but I'm just a dude.
I'm just trying to stroke your ego. That's all.
Stroke something else. I'm just a dude. I don't know. So we go over there, all right, and her husband's standing there, and he wasn't super social, and go to take a look at this llama, and yeah, sure as shit, there's maggots coming out, and we go try to start shearing this thing, and my little clippers were ass. We don't have shears around here anymore. Luckily, she found some shears from one of her friends down the road or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a lady with sheep, and I get to shearing this thing, and the husband gives me a pair of like actual like scissor shears, and we're getting through it with that, and I can't make this up. The entire rear end of this llama it looks like a burn victim, and it's covered in maggots.
Yeah, it was just so bad.
And
But you couldn't see it.
you couldn't. It was under the fur, and before anybody's like, oh, a shitty owner, blah blah. First of all,
No.
I don't really know this lady. Like what she does in her side time, I don't know if she is a good animal owner. She seemed like a sweet lady, but I don't think this was exactly her fault.
No, absolutely
No.
not. She was, after seeing the pen, how clean it was.
For sure.
Everything was like green over there. Everything
Yeah.
was like happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I seen that, I was like, oh,
Yeah, and
definitely not her fault. No way.
and maggots work quick.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
So essentially, in my opinion, what boiled this subject down to what it was is her llama's got a barrel cut. They weren't all sheared. Llama hair, it's dense. It contains moisture. Anything that hits it, it just seeps all of it. So essentially, the llama's skin was just staying wet. And what do flies like? Wet. They like it wet. So they were starting to burrow in it, and they laid some eggs. And the maggots, they dig holes, and there was little pits all around this llama's ass.
And because it had long fur yet, you weren't able to see anything.
But the fur, when we got the shearing, a lot of that fur just came right on off. Like we could pull some of it off like a camel because it's all dead. The maggots were eating it alive. It looked like a burn victim, And there was some like these maggot-filled cysts that I would push on, and maggots would come out. It was like bubble wrap. It was like bubble wrap. It was like fucking. Like, when you put Pop Rocks in your mouth, like it was like that, but on my fingers, it was fucking gross. And I got it cleaned up and this and that. And I just kind of told the lady, I was like, I can't go no further. I think there's another a thing right there. I would slice that open, and you're going to need meds and this and that. And, I'm not going to go any further. It's a liability thing at this point. I'm not going to fuck up your llama.
You did.
Yeah. I'm happy that you're
enough.
grateful. Call the vet. So, we waited for the vet to get out there on an emergency call, and he came in and said all the exact same shit that I said. Put him on all the same meds that I said he was going to be on, and I'm not tooting my horn here, but I just been around animals long enough, and he's a mini camel, whatever.
Yeah.
And, I wish I could have saved her the money, but I can't administer drugs.
No.
It's I legally can't,
No.
and
you did everything you could.
For sure. I mean, if it was my llama, I had just done everything and shot him up and this and that. But it's not my llama.
Shot him with drugs.
Yeah, I shot him with drugs for sure. He's very, 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 very well-behaved llama.
That llama was like
better behaved
great.
than most dogs I meet, for sure.
And the shape it was in, that's why I was like, I know she's taking care of it because that llama's plump.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fluffy-ass llama.
So I wanted to mention this to her a little bit, but we ended up leaving before the doctor, and the whole llama's body is kind of swollen. You know, it's fighting infection.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah.
And I thought of Jason a little bit when we were talking about this, because its feet need copper toxing. You know, they're all very, very, very swelled up, and some of its nails are starting to twist, and none of them are super long. There were a couple that could be trimmed back.
Yeah.
But they were all twisting, and they weren't exactly formed right. And I do think the llama was a little bow-legged as well.
Oh yeah.
And I think the front pasterns were a little sagged. But you know, it is fighting some crazy infection for sure. There's some shit going on, a lot of maggots, this and that. There's a lot of reason for this llama to be in pain, but when it comes to swelling and stuff like that, I bet the llama might have some shoulder issues, especially with how wide it was up there.
Yeah.
And maybe some neck issues because of its feet, you know, because of the nails, because of the bow-leggedness. Like, that affects your whole body. It's like us walking in shitty shoes. It will hurt your back. It'll hurt your neck. You know, like, your shoes are arguably your everything throughout the day, especially if you have a job that you're on your feet all the time. And what do llamas do all day? They stand.
They stand.
You got to take care of their feet, man. So I don't know what the llama looked like before all this, but I would argue that llama's going to run into some issue because of that, you know? And I know he's not as heavy as a camel, but like, your feet are so important no matter the species. You know, that's why people have farriers come out to their horse every fucking day, you know?
And they're not cheap.
No, they're not, you know, and that's why I won't own a fucking horse. Well, it's one of like probably about 7,000 reasons I won't own a horse.
Yeah.
But it was so sick.
Yeah.
It was so
That's
disgusting.
why I couldn't believe you were just going in. I'm like,
well, if that was my llama, I probably would have been gagging and puking and throwing up, but it's one of them things, like, I just got to tough it up and do it for the lady, you know? Like, at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt me. They're just maggots. It's gross. But
well, you do some nasty, nasty shit.
That was some cake, though. Not easy. I mean, that was like the icing on the cake.
Expressing anal glands, though, like...
That's so normal.
I don't know how you can do that.
The smell is sick, but that's so normal, you know? And, yeah, I don't know, man. The llama was great. Stood there for most of it, you know. I haven't heard from the lady today. I don't know. Well, did I give her my phone number?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. Because she's like, can I have one of your phone numbers before she left?
Yeah. Because I was going to say, maybe that's why I didn't hear from her. She's trying to call the business phone. That motherfucker's probably been dead for 2 days.
She could have been trying to call that again, too.
I gave her my personal.
You did. You did before she left.
What the fuck?
I hope she gets in touch with you again.
Yeah, I'll if I don't hear from her, I'll try and get.
I really want to know an update because, like, I was worried for that.
It was
that boy, or that
pretty
girl.
fucking gross, man. And I thought, you know, right away I thought it looked fixable. It's just gonna be a long
definitely
recovery.
fixable. It's and meeting her and like realizing she can do it.
Yeah.
I don't have any. She cares enough to where she's not gonna let that llama go. So
for sure, she had said she had the other one for 20 years.
20 years, and that llama looked perfect.
Yeah, the llama looked nice. I think he could have put a little weight on, but the other one could have lost a little.
Well, and you know the other thing is she got that llama for free too. So
for sure, you never know what you're getting. Like she had said yesterday, she said sometimes free ain't free.
Nope.
And that's fucking true. Now I don't blame whatever the past owners did on the maggots. That's strictly because of the barrel cut, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what she does or doesn't know about llamas. Truly, I mean, I was talking to her like I was on square one, but this is one of them things that does not happen often. It takes, you know, the right amount of bullshit, you know, the animal to stand out in the rain the right amount of time and whatnot. But like, shear your llamas.
Yeah.
It's too wet up here. It's too.
And she wanted it, I think, right?
Well, that's what she said. You know, and she said that the gal just didn't understand what she was saying or whatever. And if it was the same gal that did mine,
it was an employee. It sounds like.
she said they did it the same day.
Yeah.
And that the gal's not an employee. She's an owner. It's her and her boyfriend.
It sounds like, okay, because she made it sound like,
the girl was with an employee.
Yeah.
And the boy was at Steve's the same day with an employee.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
each owner had an employee. I would put my bottom dollar that one of the owners was over there, and she's a good chick, and they know how to trim llamas and alpacas. And I don't want to talk down on anybody. You know, I don't know the truth of the situation, and the llama's neck did look stupid. They should have trimmed up to the neck.
I know.
So they definitely did fuck that up. But we should have them on. We should get them on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But they're easy to deal with. They're good shears.
Mhm.
You know, I have no problem with them. You know, I wonder, like, again, I don't want to just take guesses and talk down on people, but like, was it one of them situations where she felt bad, so she just started blaming things? You know, maybe she felt in her head she should have cut their hair.
Well, I mean, when something like that happens, obviously hindsight's 20/20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should have done that. Well, if I did that,
That's fine, but just tell me you fucked up.
I don't think people can't do that though. People can't admit they're wrong. People can't admit they fucked up.
That's the most important thing when you're in the animal world.
Yeah.
You're working with lives here.
Yeah.
Say you fucked up and learn something.
Yeah. And maybe she was telling the truth. I lied to my cable guy the other day saying, "Oh yeah, that cable was spliced before I got here." I did it because I needed extra, and somebody's like, "Oh yeah, you just if you got a piece of cable laying around, just run it." Because after I took my deck out, and yeah, I had to lie to that guy because I felt like an asshole.
You know, back in the day,
But he was mean.
he was mean.
He wasn't.
Should've
Well, he
whooped
wasn't
his
mean.
ass.
He was just like uppity.
Should have whooped his ass.
Yeah, he was kind of old. Elder abuse.
Back in the day, I used to be a pretty big people pleaser. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Actually, again, my buddy Ty with Grim the dog. This is why he's always been one of my best friends. He called me out on it, and it was one of them things like where people be like, "You ever listen to this musician?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I love them." I had no fucking clue who they were talking about.
Really?
I would just be like, "Hell yeah, man," And Ty'd be like, "Why do you do that shit?" And I was like, "I don't know. That's a good question." So I stopped. I don't like. Let's just be honest. And that when it's as simple as something like that, you ever played this video game? Say no, and then maybe you learn about it and you'll like it. You don't. There is no point of going through life people pleasing for sure, but when there's actual lives at stake, definitely don't do this bullshit. But just be real, be yourself, and fucking learn something about your animals, man. Fucking learn something. And we've had barrel cut llamas and alpacas here before.
Oh yeah,
for sure. It took the one time. This is something that doesn't happen often, but when it fucking happens, like, it's not worth the chance of it happening.
Yeah.
And clearly that llama likes to sit out in the wet like Doofus does, because its feet are all fucking, they're soaked.
Yeah.
So I hope she went and bought some copper tox today. I don't know. I'll catch up with the lady. I'll see. I got high hopes for the llama. I think he can be okay. But the doctor came out, or before he came out, he was like, spray it with fly spray. And I think that was part of the issue, because the llama hair, it absorbs everything. It absorbs fucking everything. And then when the doctor got there, he kind of scolded her for not getting the fly spray down to the skin. You can't. It doesn't go through llama hair.
No.
There's no chance in hell.
No. Unless you absolutely drench it.
Drench it and massage it in. And like it, people, people outside of doctors, the average human being does not understand how dense llama and alpaca fur is.
Yeah.
It's so plush, and that's why it's sought after everywhere.
And that's why people make socks out of them.
Mm-hmm. It's warm. It's fuck. Like, they're from the mountains. Yeah. Like, if you leave them out up here when it ggets too hot and they're not sheared, they'll die of heat exhaustion. Like, it's thick as fuck. It's like you wearing 4 jackets at once. If you're wearing one jacket, like, say you're wearing a real fur jacket, if I come spray you with fucking fly spray, you ain't gonna feel it.
I'm not gonna be happy either.
Well, no.
Fur jacket. Lay off my pimp suit.
Well, we can't afford fur jackets anymore.
Yet.
So, I ain't buying fur. The fuck I need. I mean, I would buy an alpaca jacket.
Oh
For
yeah,
sure. That's renewable fur.
if I could afford it.
I'm not fucking with no mink jackets and shit. That shit ain't right. But
I found socks. I forget the name of them because I'm on a sock kick.
not the camel socks.
No, they're alpaca socks. $35 a pair.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Moisture wicking or for winter?
Probably both.
Both, yeah.
But I'm like 35. I'm paying 20 for those Camel Mill City socks, and those are worth it. I don't know if I need to spend any more money, but those are just wool too.
Camel Mill.
I think it's Camel City Mill. I don't know, something like that.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us. I need more socks.
We'll put your socks on the camel.
Fucking love it. Oh yeah.
Send us big socks. We'll put them on the camel. We can
Camel
do
socks. Oh yeah.
it.
1000% we can. I wonder if they'll walk like dogs do or cats.
I don't see people get all these sponsors and the fuck?
Again.
The lights just turned on.
Again, yeah.
Bob's listening. I don't know. Like, do podcast sponsors and stuff and YouTube sponsors, do they, by being a sponsor, are they just paying for that spot?
Yeah.
Or like what makes them a sponsor? Because like
They're
a
giving you
sponsor,
money.
like a sponsor is not like a feature or anything. Like if we pulled a sponsor, that wouldn't gain us any viewers.
No.
It's like, what's the point?
No, we just be we need viewers to have a sponsor. It's like when Facebook first came out, they didn't have commercials and ads. Now go on Facebook without seeing an ad, you're not. And you are the product too, so.
For sure. For sure. I don't know how to get this podcast out to more people. Reckon I really haven't been trying too hard.
We just rent a billboard on the freeway.
Podcast. I need to get back on TikTok lives. You need to start doing TikTok too.
Yeah, if I gotta make videos. Nobody likes my videos. They're very boring.
Well, you have to keep doing it. It's repetition.
How do you go but how do you go viral?
Chance.
It just, yeah.
Every video is chance.
That's so wild.
And I mean, once you have a little algorithm, from what I think, you have momentum.
Yeah.
You know, you got to build that momentum.
Because Josh has like thousands of followers. And
every video is pure chance.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning too over this last season, and over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've had 3 different people come to the farm because they caught me on live with TikTok.
That's crazy.
It's fucking cool. And in the terms of TikTok, I only have 18,000 followers.
Really?
Like, that's not a lot of followers.
That's
There's people on
sad.
there with millions, you know?
That's sad.
But I'm still reaching people.
I got like 20 followers, I think.
You're getting up there.
I need 1,000 to go live though, right?
I don't know. That's something like that.
Yeah.
But it's reach, and it all counts. You
Yeah.
know, it all fucking counts. But it's all chance. Every video you post a chance. You got to do it the correct time, the correct day, the right hashtags. The algorithm is a joke.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's all chance. And you could upload all this cool content and do no views. And the minute you put up a video of a fucking wiener drawn on your thumb, you go viral. You know,
Yeah.
you never fucking know. And there are some things where I'm like, well, that definitely deserved to go viral. And
Sure.
there's some things that fucking didn't. You know,
Well, Maggie went viral. She got 1 million hits on a couple
Mhm.
videos.
Absolutely.
Of her just
And,
working out.
yeah, just simple shit, man.
Yeah.
Because you hit the algorithm at the correct time.
Should I just walk?
Yeah.
Just, walk.
Make videos of you walking.
Yeah, that's just my feet.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
The walking channel.
Yeah, a walking channel. Look, I'm walking on gravel. Oh, I'm on grass now.
Walking ASMR.
Oh.
I'm walking. This is a camel walk.
And name the page Kick Rocks. No?
Good luck with that.
Yeah, why not? It might work though. It might fly.
Maybe. Absolutely. But yeah, I just, we're 20 episodes in. I do think it gets a little better every time, even though we have audio issues. And the camera quality isn't the best. But I don't know how to get it out there more. And there's a lot of podcasts. It's a hard market to get into, but I just
500,000, right?
something like that. I don't know. We looked at it once or
It's
whatever.
stupid.
But yeah,
But I think we have the most for what day is it? Like, because remember we were looking up all the names?
well, there was the other What Day Is It podcast. They just quit, so we took the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was there?
They had a decent following.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Which was a poor name on our choice, but
But the people kept saying it, and on the parade route, what day is it? I'm like,
I could put the podcast on the website. I
Yeah.
mean, people click the website. If people like podcasts or whatever. I haven't even posted it on the Facebook or nothing, but it's not a family friendly thing,
No.
and I don't want it. I don't mean that it doesn't have to be. It's just it's a different experience. I mean, when people come to the zoo, they still meet me. It's just depending on who's around and kids or not depends on our conversation.
Yeah.
And really the only difference is I cuss on here.
Yeah.
That's
And your
I'm
customer service is out the door.
for sure. I come on here to air shit out, and like this is the safe space. And that's how I remember I kind of like thought about doing like the Rigged and Ranch podcast or whatever, but like that's yeah, it's customer service over there,
Yeah.
and I mean it can be related still, that's fine, but like um what day is it just makes sense anyway. And for those of you that do listen and still do chime in every week, we appreciate you. We're trying to make it better every week, and it's honestly, it's been a tougher ride than I thought it was going to be. I hopped in here and I was like, well, we have majority, more shit than the average person. We got a couple mics and a couple laptops and a camera already. Like we were kind of ready to go, but actually putting it together is kind of a pain in the butt. I've done music for years, but learning how to do this stuff, it was quite a little bit different. And having to have the episode ready every Wednesday it's a struggle, especially for being how busy I am with
Mhm.
everything. So it's been a pain in the butt. So for those of you that are around, I appreciate you guys so much. And we're gonna keep dropping content for you guys. I really enjoy doing this, and it just gives us a space to talk about our week every week. And there goes Fluffy's phone. We almost made it the entire hour
I forgot to turn it off.
without your goddamn phone
It was so
ringing.
close.
We were so goddamn close, man.
Well, aren't we at an hour? No.
56 minutes.
Ah.
We almost made it. It doesn't count. We did hear some mint going earlier.
Mint?
Mint.
Oh. Like.
The software takes that shit out anyway. People don't even hear it anymore.
AI.
Yeah.
Thank God for AI.
For fucking sure, man. But
Hopefully I start making more money now because of AI.
Why?
Because I'll be a blue collar worker and they still need us.
for now,
Yeah.
till there's robots and machines make all the parts.
I've been being told robots for.
You're a part maker,
Yeah.
Like at some point there's got to be like a 3D printer that can print shit out of those materials and make
Not
parts.
as fast. We are getting a the first in the country, I believe. It's a it like welds. Like it's like a 3D printer, but it's like building on welds pretty much.
Really?
I forget the name of the machine, but like yeah, it's like one of the first in the country, if not the first in the country.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, it would be you guys to get it.
What's that?
Would be you guys to get it.
Yeah, they got some lavish ideas. I'm like, go for it, whatever. I am not running it. I watch all the problems from back here. Plus, when I misdrill a hole or something now, you can be like, hey, can you just fill that?
But yeah, that's a look at our week, guys. Once again, I appreciate you guys. I got to do some finishing up around here and whatnot, and we'll catch you guys next week. I really appreciate you guys. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, the like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. We haven't had a comment in a good while. So
Need
anyway,
some comments. Need something to talk about.
We need some engagement, god damn it.
Yeah, something.
Before we quit.
I enjoy hearing about it in person, but
yeah,
I'd like to also see it.
For sure. But anyway, Fluffy.
Well, everybody, been good. Happy hump day. Happy hump day.